government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
I refuse to go along with this, and I'd see through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. You know how you get somebody called America Shirts to show up? You have to chant his name. Even then, it doesn't work. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to continuously chant his name. Nobody ever knows if he's ever going to be there or if he's not. And because we never know, we have to, invite people like Jimmy YouTube.
Hey, sorry to be here, guys.
What up, brother? How are you?
What up, man? How's it going?
So, I would say hi to chat real quick. Looks like Squaw Bob's here. Squaw Bob was the first one here. Way to go.
Oh, Squaw Bob. Womp, womp, womp.
Heidi, how are you doing, dear? Glad you're here. Rick's Clicks is in the house.
Oh, Super V is doing the chat.
Good to potentially see it.
She's doing the chant.
She's doing the chant for me. She's doing the chant. Way to go, Super V. We don't want to skip over Daisy Girl. How you doing, girl? Good to see you. Glad you're with us. Heidi says, glad you're streaming tonight, Mr. Koolfrogg. I didn't get any notifications, so I had to go looking. We seriously just started just now, and I seriously just created the show within the last half hour. Normally, I have it scheduled earlier where it would have given enough time to actually throw out potential notifications, but I kind of overslept everything or whatever because, I could, and woke up within the last half hour and said, oh, damn, I'm missing my own showtime.
What up, Rick's Clicks?
Melissa Jane, what's up, dear? How are you doing? Good to see you. Got quite the room here. It's awesome. Glad everybody's starting to show up.
Spicy. What's good?
So, Scott Bob's sleeping? You sleeping? Or are you calling me out for my sleeping? Because, that happens. That happens. I have the tendency to get my rest in short batches. So when I oversleep, it's not that I'm really oversleeping. It's just like I seriously slept for 5.5 hours. That was the longest that it's longer than a normal sleep. Normally I sleep like 3 or 4 hours intervals. So as far as that goes, it's very interesting. So it's brought to my attention as I actually woke up and jumped into Discord that there was some goings on in the state of Missouri. So down in the state of Missouri, they decided to actually go ahead with something, which is very interesting in itself. Texas Jen, how's it going, dear? Good to see you. Let's pull up an article here. There you go. From the Kansas City Star. It says Missouri governor says execution of Amber McLaughlin to go forward Tuesday evening. Apparently, they did do so. It is something that they actually successfully completed.
Eat shit.
Right? Anybody that doesn't know who Amber McLaughlin is, Amber McLaughlin was never necessarily a woman to begin with. Went ahead and unlived what they like to call an ex-girlfriend, which I don't believe that either. I really don't.
She had a
believe that.
restraining order out on this person,
Right.
and it did nothing. This person would show up at her work and just hide and watch. And yeah, this turned into her getting chopped up and thrown into a river by this thing. So
But
yeah.
which
fuck-
after
fuck
sitting in prison for the last 9 years-ish, somewhere almost 10 years, sitting in this prison, decided to actually transition in as a way to actually get away with doing what they were doing. It's America's shirts.
Did you quit removing me? Jeez, Koolfrogg.
I forget that I gave you rights to actually do that yourself. So, you know.
How about we
You
do,
removed
how about we do
yourself
this? There you go.
once.
See, now it's no, I'm just kidding.
He's like, here, watch this. I'll kick Jimmy.
Why'd you do it to me?
Had to make more space. Sorry.
Get the fuck out.
It seems as though Super V in her chant actually brought America's shirts here. Good to see.
The chant has power. We told you. Y'all laughed at me.
Darth Hideous says, I walk in the door waving my 44, firing off like y'all didn't know.
That shirt's his new intro song.
So it's very disturbing that, you know, after so many years or whatever, this person actually did go ahead and actually transition while sitting in prison.
Yep, you guys paid for it. You paid for that transition. That one.
Right. The state of Missouri and their taxes actually paid for this particular person to actually transition.
Well,
After
if
they
it's Bruce Jenner can do it, well, you know, I can't tell.
Man, you know,
Oh,
I
I'm a
transitioned about
woman.
3 years ago, and I swear it's the best thing I ever done.
Darth's mad because I didn't rap that any better than I did. It's all right, bro.
And I walk in the door within my 44. You just gotta throw out the Marshall Mathers.
Yeah, well, that's an Eminem song.
Is it?
And versus Sam Colt selling to the U.S. government, the owner of Colt Firearms. Howdy, Koolfrogg, AmericaShirts.com, and Jimmy YouTube in chat. What's up, TR? How you
hello,
doing,
TR.
brother?
Good to see you.
Yes, Samuel Colt sells his first revolvers to the United States government.
Mhm.
January the 4th.
Those guns can kill anything.
I mean, it's still technically the 3rd here, so, you know, that's why I didn't hear about it yet.
You will be. You will be.
Oh, control, you must learn control. Oh, where's Tommy Quandary?
Okay, so it says McLaughlin, 49, was convicted of killing her ex-girlfriend Beverly Ginther in 2003 in St. Louis County. The jury deadlocked on the sentence, and the judge handed down a death penalty. Missouri and Indiana are the only states that grant that power to a judge. And of course, they're gonna go roundabout ways of actually talking about this and actually, making it known to be that this person should have actually been unlived way back in maybe 2003. Because they're like, it's wrong for us to actually do things to certain types of individuals, which is why I think he had transitioned into this person of Amber. So it's really kind of gross and disturbing in itself when it comes to full thought. Rose,
I like this here.
How you doing, dear?
God made man, Sam Colt made men equal. Anyway, it's back to the story.
It's the Rose of Sharon Cassidy.
We brought up Sam Colt. I had to finish that off.
Michelle Smith, co-director of returns for alternatives to the unlived penalty, and the loophole makes Missouri an extreme outlier in that it reeks of injustice.
Did you just say Missouri?
I did.
You just said the proper way.
I said Missouri.
That's the way you say Missouri.
I have family that live down in the area, so it's just kind of you pay homage to them, my son.
Did you just say pay homage to them?
Homage.
Sounded like you said Amish.
No.
Anyway.
We pay the Amish, we get it.
No.
Is he paying the Amish? Or is he
they
paying
don't live
Amish?
down. They don't live down in Missouri.
I wonder.
You just never know. I bet they live everywhere, don't they?
Yeah.
Very diverse group.
If they ever decide to attack, we'll see how mighty they really are.
Yeah,
right. They have flying space wagons.
So it says
they're like
attorneys
Wakanda,
for
but they're like hidden away. Sorry. It's too good.
Okay. You're okay. It says attorneys actually submitted a clemency application to Governor Mike Parsons' office 3 weeks ago, arguing that she suffered abuse as a child, had a borderline intellectual disability, and was remorseful. It doesn't matter how remorseful you did something that actually puts you to that point of what the hell did you just do?
Who?
I just kind of seen things kind of.
I didn't.
You want it? He says, "Take away my powers."
I didn't do anything. I'm completely guiltless. I mean, who are people going to believe? Are they going to believe the terrorist or the shirt? Like, I mean,
right.
Allegedly, terrorist.
Not a terrorist. I'm a U.S. citizen.
Well, we're all terrorists now, so.
MAGA terrorists.
MAGA Republicans don't respect the rule of law. Anyway. I am completely innocent. As I told you yesterday, Jimmy, Koolfrogg did it. It's all his fault.
Yep,
just go with it.
It's just me. Don't worry about it. Darth Hideous answered with the shirt.
Exactly. My point, right?
Because he called me a right-wing extremist. There it is.
I'm just a lowly article of clothing.
That's me, that right-wing extremist. I'm the one that's the right-wing extremist, not the shirt. Not the shirt that's more base than I am. Nah. If the frog isn't on the 4th yet, then it's still Mel Gibson's birthday. Sure.
No.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the freakazoid.
Last
The
paragraph.
murderous freakazoid.
McLaughlin's conviction and sentence remains after multiple thorough examinations by the Missouri law. McLaughlin stalked, raped, and unlived Ms. Ginther. McLaughlin is a violent criminal, Parsons said in the statement. Ms. Ginther's family and loved ones deserve peace. The state of Missouri will carry out McLaughlin's sentence according to the court's order and deliver justice.
Is the term unlived or unalived?
Unalived.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure on that.
It's whatever I make it. This is my show. So it's whatever I make it.
This is your show.
Okay, boss.
He's like,
What do you
this
think, boss?
isn't your show. Wait a minute, huh?
When was this
It
your
is
show?
called Shtick with Koolfrogg. I mean, as far as
What?
Where are we?
Oh, night, Rick's Clicks. Thanks for stopping by.
This is in case I fall asleep.
In case I fall asleep. Well, in case you fall asleep, sleep well. We'll talk to you later.
Now we have to make him the center of the show.
I was looking for things to go along with this particular person. And here you go, Sister Helen Preaching. This nice blue check mark.
Oh, Jesus.
Who doesn't have check marks? If you have blue check marks, you're totally worth it, and it makes you more of a person nowadays. Guess who else has a blue check mark?
I mean,
Anyway, she says, Missouri has executed Amber Mclaughlin tonight. Her life story was filled with abuse, trauma, mental illness, brain damage, and intellectual disability, all culminating in horrible crime. Amber was deeply remorseful for her actions, but the system showed no mercy. Nah. As they should.
I was listening to Tim Pool earlier today talk about how he went to Georgia and he went to a it was Savannah, Georgia. He went to a serial killers museum or whatever. It was like a museum of serial killers, whatever. And it was like he went in here and he said it was fascinating because there were so many of these people that their background was if they were a boy, their mother would dress them up like a girl when they were little. And now it's like, and he was like, that was common amongst a lot of them. It's like, oh my. Well, well, looky here, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little weird, right? Like, oh, childhood abuse, and then like now he's coming out as a woman, like a little bit of some inherent abuse and mental lack of development, I guess you could say. Perhaps.
Yeah, we're just churning out serial killers these days, aren't we? Then.
I mean, yeah, like serial abusers could potentially do that. Could potentially be serial killers. I don't know.
So we're at least churning out serial abusers.
At the least, yes.
What the hell? And I'm very disturbed now. For whatever reason, YouTube's algorithm went and kicked out a comment from Squad Bob that says smash the like and subscribe.
Wow.
You do not smash the like, you do not subscribe.
Oh, he said smash.
Stay.
Take it away.
No.
gotta be
Does
kidding
it
me right
captures
now,
you?
YouTube. Screw you and your shit, Susan.
Does it caps?
We will drive you there, don't worry.
So, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna make somebody
I think there's
moderator.
clips from Hogan's Heroes. We need to do that. And just
Doesn't seem like there's very many moderators around at the moment. So, Rose, have a wrench.
Oh, you gave Rose a hammer?
Yeah. Somebody else needs to, because that was from a while ago. That was from, I mean, seriously, that was, a couple minutes ago. So she's like, no. I mean, I have to give it to somebody that I actually trust. And, it's
No.
sorry. It's attached. It's not going away.
It won't come off. She's like, shit, her YouTube name.
It's like Elon Musk's brain chip. What?
Why won't it go away?
It's like Neuralink. What? Who?
Uh,
I didn't hear you.
what?
I
Neuralink
love
is
Neuralink.
irremovable?
I want 5 chips in my brain.
Oh, look
Anyway.
at that. Princess,
I want
how you doing,
6.
dude?
Hey, like her now.
Y'all say hi to Jessica.
So,
Oh,
Jess, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? Glad you're here. Good to see you.
It is good to see you. Sometimes. Did you invite her on?
Did I invite her on?
Yeah.
On show? No. She wants to, she can say something. I mean, I just invited the couple of you, so anybody else that really wants, I mean, I'm down. You really? You're right. Forgot I'm not wanted here. Right? No, you are wanted here. The best mod in the world. You're not going away.
You know I'm damn well contractually obligated to be mean to you.
Kill shot. What's up, Ash? How you doing?
Yo. To the comps fish you.
Shirt, stop it. He's like, he's not going to take away my powers anyway. I might as well just continue to wield then.
I mean, I think I can post another name, can I? Can I not do that? Oh, I guess I can't. Anyway.
You can't post under your own name?
Not from StreamYard.
Ash says 11.
I thought the other day I could click
11.
on like the icon and like pick
11.
like another
11.
like whatever. And
And
now it's not there, so I don't know. Oh wait, is it up here? Is it up top? No, that's not it.
11.
I need to get like those Hogan's Heroes clips and like we need to put them into the StreamYard, and then that way when YouTube does anything, it's just like Sergeant Schultz. Run. It's like out the doors or whatever, like get people moving, somebody screaming something German in Hogan's Heroes.
Okay, so to speak of this same person, here's from Bloomberg. Bloomberg says first transgender person executed under rare Missouri law. I don't. It shouldn't be that rare. It really shouldn't. It should be, in my mind, maybe should be a little bit more allowed amongst several states to actually, maybe all of them, to be able to actually go ahead and do this when you actually commit such a heinous crime. And just saying, when you unalive somebody, maybe you should have the ability to be unalived yourself. Call me wrong, I don't care.
Run. No, I'm just kidding.
So it says Missouri executed the first openly transgender person in the country on Tuesday evening under an uncommon state law that allows judges to impose the death penalty when a jury deadlocks on a punishment. Amber Mclaughlin was put to death by lethal injection for the raping and unaliving of her ex-girlfriend, Beverly Ginther, in 2003. Her attorney, Michelle Law, confirmed in an email to Bloomberg Law. A trial judge imposed the death penalty after the jury was unable to agree on a sentence. Missouri and Indiana are the only states with this unusual scheme that gives judges sole discretion when there's a hung jury. The legal scholars question whether the two states' laws are unconstitutional. I mean, I guess it's kind of strange when it's a hung jury. It goes to solely to the judge and judge's discretion on how they feel about it and where they feel it should go. How it just so happened to be a hung jury is beyond me. I really don't understand what actually occurred for it to become a hung jury. Was there some evidence there that said that, oh, maybe that this person wasn't remorseful enough, where the judge just said, I don't care? I mean,
either that or the whole jury was full of trannies or something. I don't know.
We don't know. I mean, back in 2003, there wasn't as many as there are nowadays. So I mean, that could be, but they wouldn't have told us. They wouldn't have been so open potentially.
Meet the courts.
Say it again. No, you were really quiet. That's why.
That's okay. That joke was meant to be quiet.
Oh, okay. This says, in most jurisdictions, if a jury fails to reach verdict, either the person is sentenced to life as a matter of law, or in some states, if they can't agree, it would just like a mistrial, and they would have a new sentencing trial in front of a new jury, which could be okay So basically, the jury was hung on if they were going to give them life or the death penalty. That was where they were hung. They were hung on sentencing. So if they were hung on sentencing and they didn't know where to actually go with it, and it gave sole discretion to the judge to say, okay, fine, y'all can't figure it out, here you go. I'm gonna impose what I feel is necessary to actually, deal with this person. And maybe the judge was smart enough to actually understand, well, this is actually going to cost taxpayers X amount of dollars every year to, hold this person for the rest of their life, which could potentially be quite some time if they're at the age that they were. For them to actually say that we're finally executing the first quote unquote trans human, they just transitioned recently. This isn't something that was, been there forever where they're like, oh, they were always trans. No, they weren't. There's no way that they were. They just finally, said, oh, maybe if I actually do this will stop them from actually going through with their...
I'll bet somebody told them to do it. I will bet money that somebody told them, like, went in there and
said, hey, if you try this, maybe they won't.
This might save your life. Yeah. Yep.
Whoops. Looks like that didn't work out.
Yep. Died as he lived. A piece of shit.
This is the U.S. Supreme Court held in 2016's Hearst v. Florida that the Sixth Amendment requires a jury, not a judge, to find the aggravating facts necessary to impose a death sentence. The High Court ruled Florida's law, which required a judge alone to find the existence of an aggravating circumstance to justify a death sentence, unconstitutional. Robert Dunham, executive director of Death Penalty Information Center, said the constitutional issue McLaughlin's case presented is whether states with with these hung jury laws that require the judge to make the independent determination of aggravating or mitigating circumstances in violation of the Sixth Amendment right to a jury. Craig Wood, another inmate in the death row in Missouri, asked the justices in January 2020 to review this very question, but the court didn't take the case. In McLaughlin's case, the federal district court tossed out the sentence in a habeas review based on the ineffective counsel, but the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit reinstated it. The decision was appealed to the Supreme Court, but the justices refused in June to take the case. Journalist Chris Geidner wrote that McLaughlin's pending execution on Tuesday morning in his newsletter, Law Dork. All right. So there's a clemency request, and it says activists hope the attention paid by McLaughlin's case will help change the Missouri law, even though Republicans control both the state legislature and the governor's office. So they're trying to politicize the clemency request because they're like, well, it has to be because it was the state legislature and the governor's office were Republicans that this didn't go through. Wrong. You can't sit there and point fingers and try politicizing something just because you feel like it and trying to say, oh, that must be why. That's ridiculous and disturbing. So we have to hold out hope every single time, but Missouri has shown to be particularly brutal, said Elise Max, co-director of the Missourians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. In addition to McLaughlin, 2 other remaining 17 people on death row in the state were sentenced to death by a judge. A judge in Missouri last sentenced someone to death after a jury failed to agree on a punishment in a 2018 case, she said. Governor Mike Parsons denied McLaughlin's request for clemency, and his office confirmed in a statement earlier Tuesday that the state planned to carry out her sentence. McLaughlin's conviction and sentence remains after multiple thorough examinations of the Missouri law. McLaughlin stalked, raped, and murdered Mrs. Gunther. McLaughlin is a violent criminal. And that's where I'm at. It's McLaughlin, regardless to it being a he or a she or somewhere in between, it doesn't matter. You're a violent criminal. You're a violent criminal, and you're brought down to that level on purpose. That's what they sentence you to. That's where you go. That's what happens to you. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. In her clemency request, McLaughlin's federal public defenders detailed abuse and neglect that client faced as a child from her own parents and while in foster care system, trauma that led to intellectual disability and depression. Hearing this evidence at trial, they said the jury refused to return a death verdict, rejecting 3 of the 4 aggravating factors the state relied on pushing for the death sentence. Missouri is one of the 2 states that allows county trial judge to impose. We can't know that, right? They always like to throw in a last thought just to try spinning it up again. It's like we understand that there's only 2 states that allow a judge to actually, go to that point of doing such a thing. I still say thank God that they actually went ahead and they did what they did. They removed somebody from the face of this planet for the things that they've done. And maybe they did it okay.
Yeah, maybe this was the right freaking call. Like, this person
wake up
was
call.
released-
Wake up call for all those that think that they're going to get away with something because they're transition. Oh, look at that! It's a hat.
No,
I got to change that.
it is a hat.
That's weird.
That is interesting.
That's strange as can be. Why would that be there?
I don't know. I don't think anybody would know.
I have no clue why that was there. What the hell? Just kind of skimming through chat here real quick, see if there's anything that they had to actually say about this particular. Ash's baby shark do has 11 daddy sharks do because Stacy's mom has got it going on do. Yes, interesting. You can always tell when American Shirt turns off his microphone. You always hear that. So, there's quite a few things that actually happened in the last few days since we've actually been around. This guy, anybody that hadn't been paying attention to football in the last few days, Damar Hamlin is intubated. NFL suspends the game, and the Players Association releases a statement on it. Kind of disturbing and interesting in its own. It seems as though, and I had watched this particular hit, because they actually collided as fast as they did. Koolfrogg, why can't I send super chats? Because I can't apply for monetization until the 15th of the month, or the 17th of the month. So I have, 14 more days, 13 more days, dependent, and before I can actually apply. The best way to actually send that support is the buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. There is a PayPal link if that's something that's necessary. If PayPal's, or if the Buy Me a Coffee is too much for you, I do prefer the Buy Me a Coffee over the PayPal. I get the money a little bit sooner. So there, I threw a little banner up below there. It said actually, there is a line in the description that actually does go along with that actually says buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Yeah, see? There you go. Rose says, oh, I guess I can post that nowadays. Yep, you can. I gave you a wrench. You can use it. Use it.
I can feel your
Modship flowing through you.
So, it says the NFL postponed Monday night's game between the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals after Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsed after taking a tackle. The NFL Players Association offered intense concerns for the condition. Hamlin was reportedly taken to the University of Cincinnati Hospital, where he was intubated and was listed in critical condition. The Buffalo Bills later said that Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest following a hit in a game versus the Bengals. His heartbeat was restored on the field, and he was transferred to the UC Medical Center for further testing and treatment. He is currently sedated and listed in critical condition. We'll go back up and maybe watch that video real quick. So it says Hamlin made the tackle on Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins at 5:58 left to go to the first quarter of the Bengals Paycor Stadium. When he got up from the tackle, he took a few steps, seemed to be fine, and then collapsed onto the field. The game was initially suspended as Hamlin was given CPR and taken by ambulance to a hospital. He left the field on a stretcher. The game was postponed entirely shortly after Hamlin was taken from the field, the players could be seen praying for him, as they should. The NFL Players Association released a statement. It says the NFL Players Association and everyone in our community is praying for Damar Hamlin. We have been in touch with the Bills and Bengals players and with the NFL. The only thing that matters is this moment is Damar's health and well-being. Hamlin was taken off the field via a backboard and a stretcher, and the first responders administered CPR. ESPN also reported that he was given oxygen. An ambulance drove out onto the field and took him to the hospital. Players gathered around and prayed for him. You can kind of see there's a shot of the ambulance backing up and removing him from the field. Let's go back up and watch that hit. So I mean, not going to say that it wasn't the hit and that it was anything else because we have no clue.
Oh,
we're not going to speculate.
Never.
No, we won't do that. We won't do it.
Ever.
We won't say that it had anything to do with anything else.
You
Apparently,
wouldn't
there's been
ever
several
have,
people that have
you
actually
know-
covered that and said no. They said no. They said no. That's not what it was. We know it wasn't anything
Of
else.
course, because nobody can actually blame me for anything like this.
So it happens really quick here. You see number 3 here. He kind of steps back and then all of a sudden, bam, down to the ground. This guy right here. They're saying it was the hit that he took, to the heart, to the chest, that actually stopped and created this issue. It was just the hit alone. We've watched it a couple times now, and you can see, he kind of, takes a helmet to the chest, shoulder, whatever.
So we'll take another break here in Cincinnati.
It's disturbing in itself. Now, I know several people have actually covered this particular situation.
Well,
Exactly.
he's dead, so
Darth. It had nothing
I guess you just
to
gotta
do
be
with
careful.
that. Had
Yes, you
nothing
just
to do
gotta
with
be
before
careful,
jabs.
right?
No, nothing to do with jabs. Had nothing to do with that whatsoever. This is all just a freak event.
Just
You
like
can see
all of the
there's-
other athletes that have been collapsing on the field since, since Bill Gates got his way. It's all a giant coinky dink. Shut up.
We have no clue. We can't speculate.
Coinky
We
dink,
can't
people.
talk about such a thing being that way.
It
We're
is
just gonna go
all
along with it
coinky
and be like,
dinks. Get it right.
can we go back to
Stop
Rumble, please, so I
thinking.
can just say the word correctly? And the interesting one is because I woke up as late as I did, and I was running late. I seriously just created us over here on the YouTube side, so I agree with you. I should be able to actually shut something off and just be like, go over there, speak about it over there. But we're not going to. We're not going to. I mean, as much as I'd like to, and make it a thing. It seems as there's so many people that are unable or unwilling to actually take that move with us and just go straight over to Rumble. And I know on the user side, on the viewer side of things, whatever, chat functions suck when it comes to mobile devices. It really does. So I mean, not gonna sit there and be like, everybody needs to get themselves a computer of some sort so that they can actually do this, that, and the other. Yeah, see, and even Darth himself, I hate Rumble, and it's good for certain things. It's good for certain things. It's good for actually being able to speak where we want and how we want without it being an issue. But It is what it is. So,
Thank you, clumsy. Or should I say clairvoyance, whichever you prefer, or both.
or both. Or I think quite a few people call her clumsy. Took me forever to send
Well, I
you
wouldn't want to be
coffee.
called clumsy.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Might take me a moment to actually get into the buy me a coffee. It happens sometimes. It is quite the ordeal to actually get there. Left a comment of hi. Well, hi.
Heidi, I have never had any issue with the Rumble on. I have a Roku. I've never had any problem with it. Like I go in,
My
I
Rumble
log
works
in,
in my Roku.
and like I mean, you have to do. I mean, maybe what it is that you're talking about is like you have to link it with your like mobile device or your computer or whatever, and then you type it in there, and then it sends the signal back, whatever. But that's the way it is with every app. So other than that, I don't really know what the issue with setting it up is, unless your Roku's old.
Thanks for the $3, Clumsy. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Tres dinero. Americana dinero.
So then, let's see. There seems to be some issues with, and I'm sure that Shirts is going to have some thoughts on this particular subject.
I would just like, this is the chat of the day right here. This is very punny. I am clumsy, though, so it's fine. I accept my downfalls. LOL. Thank you for that.
Judge
we needed
Maddie,
some of that humor.
otherwise known as Matthew, Rumble is improving. Will continue to. They're building independently so they don't get parlored. Yeah. As
That's what it is.
As far as that goes, I did see that. And I know it's controversial thought or whatever, but Trump Jr. got a multi-million-dollar deal of sorts to actually do a podcast on Rumble.
Ooh,
right. So there's plenty of people that have actually gotten really decent deals. There's one in particular that most of us do know, as Nick Ricada actually picking up a deal himself to actually go over and do exclusives
Viva
on
Barnes, of course.
Right, Viva Barnes, Salty Cracker. There's several people that have very large followings. Russell Brand. That have very, very large followings. Yep, Donald Trump Jr. is a fucking asshole. He can be. And now he's going to get paid to be that asshole. That's as simple as that. Now he's going to get paid for it. So it doesn't really matter.
Also, there's another podcast that I like to watch. It's called Redacted. Those guys are great, by the way. That's somebody else that I listen to. They have a stream on Rumble that they do. They go over from YouTube to Rumble. Well, they do both. They multi-stream, but they're building their Rumble following too. And they're fairly large on YouTube. They have several 100,000 people that watch and listen to their stuff, and they do a very good job of going over different things as far as the news is concerned in the middle of the day. It's a nice sort of podcasty / opinion-esque type of deal. They're a little more of the sort of liberal side of the equation.
I'm just an asshole for free. Yep. Well, he was an asshole for free as well, but now he's actually going to get paid to continue to be that asshole. So, just saying. Just saying. So,
Trump's going to call you Sloppy Frog. Like, Slappy Frog just insulted my son. Called him an asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yes, in only the best way possible.
Here you go. For the first time in 100 years, House has to hold multiple speaker votes. How it works. Well, they actually voted several times today. I don't know who all did pay attention. I did have it on for the majority of the day as they were actually going through the 3 different counts, trying to actually figure out who is supposed to be the Speaker of the House. And the interesting one was Jim Jordan, starting off with 12 people siding, backing him and actually putting him in as Speaker, to 20. There were at the end there were 20 people that were willing to actually go with Jim Jordan as the Speaker of the House. Kevin McCarthy, the one that everybody is so up in arms about and wanting to actually be the Speaker of the House, which I disagree with. I don't think that he should be there. I think that he should not even be thought of as being there. Is the one that's getting the most votes on the Republican side. Democrats, though, they have actually done their thing or whatever, and they're actually continuously supporting one person in Hakeem Jeffries. So as far as that goes, they're very solid in who they actually want, as the Republicans are wishy-washy and don't know where they want to actually be. Go ahead.
And the other thing too, because they did 3 separate votes today. They did 3 votes. Mm-hmm. It went from 19 2 times. Third time it went to 20. So they gained another Republican on the side of anti-McCarthy. And after the second turnaround, McCarthy and his big rhino people went back into the rooms and stuff. Everybody goes back into the rooms, whatever. They go back into the rooms. They start having discussions. I was listening to an interview from Lauren Boebert on Steve Bannon's show about this here in the evening. She said that she was there in the room. She named the congressman. I forget his name now. And he said that that any person that doesn't go along with McCarthy as Speaker, if McCarthy ever does get Speaker, none of you will have any role in anything in the upcoming Congress. You will have no committee seats. You'll have nothing. You have absolutely no role in anything, and we will make sure of that. And then McCarthy doubled down on that after that guy came up and said it, and he said, and he reaffirmed it after that in the meeting, and that was behind closed doors. They're openly threatening everybody now, the McCarthy people, that if you don't back McCarthy, he's going to go down the liberal side of the aisle. And he's going to try and push their agenda and he's literally going completely ham mode for this. He's going completely off the rails. Anybody that ever thought that he was going to be reminiscently conservative, I think is proven completely wrong at this point. He's trying to freaking make a deal with the devil at this point, trying to just secure the seat for himself when he doesn't have the votes. And rather than stepping down, traditionally, when they've done this before, everybody else that didn't get the speakership the first roll around throughout United States history, they all stepped down from the race and they were like, okay, I didn't win. McCarthy's done this 3 times now, and he's making threats to people. Does this article say this? He moved into the speaker's office. There's there's a specific office, and then there's there's a residence for the Speaker of the House, third in line for the president, of course. He's moved everything in there already. He moved everything in, all his furniture, everything. He's already moved in. He thinks it's his house, thinks it's his thing. And Matt Gaetz formally, I think I have to bring this up on Twitter. I don't know if I can find this before you read everything through this article. Matt Gaetz made a formal request of who was it? Whoever, did you see that? Where McCarthy is illegally occupying these areas, and he made a formal request of the there's a name for it. It's like an office for like, you know, the speakership of the House, whatever, or like the Capitol. It's not Capitol Police, but like it's some other type of a deal for residents or whatever. And he says, "Hey, you have an illegal, you have a drifter, you have a camper out here. What do you, God, what is it called? A squatter." That's what he said. He says, "You have a squatter." It was just to set off the squatting alarm.
Yeah, there's some interesting.
It's the best.
I do have 4 different videos from Forbes that actually has people actually talking about this particular situation. So we will probably get into some of those thoughts that you had actually just thrown at us there. So we'll cover those for sure. So then, I'm going to skim through this article here real quick. This is the House began voting shortly after noon on Tuesday to determine who the next speaker will be. Though, so far, the vote has created more uncertainty around who will ultimately win. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy of California is making his second run as at the speakership, but he is facing resistance from enough hardliners in his party that he failed to seize the gavel on the first ballot. With 203 votes, or 203 votes to 212 votes for the Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York. 19 Republicans voted for neither nominee. 10 of those voted for Andy Biggs, a protest candidate against McCarthy. It's the first time a speaker hasn't been elected in the first ballot in over 100 years. Because most of them decided, you know, if they didn't get it, they just kind of stepped down and they let the next person come in. Republicans, after a disappointing midterm cycle, initially held a narrow 222-212 majority in the new House with one vacancy. That means McCarthy, who will need 218 votes if all members elect remain present, and can only afford 4 GOP defections, and he's currently grappling with more than a dozen. The Californian has already offered significant concessions, though it remains unclear how the final vote will tally. The House will continue to vote until a speaker is chosen, as no other business can be conducted. Here's how it will play out. No other business can be conducted. They will actually come back tomorrow at noon, and they'll actually hold another vote to see where they actually, if somebody actually gets selected.
Yeah, because this is the seating of the new Congress. That's what this is. So then they have to pick the speaker, and the Democrat side has picked their leader, of their majority leader for their side, Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, pardon me. And so they will obviously be pushing for him to be the speaker, seeing as that's their majority.
It seems as though there's a couple Republicans that actually did come forward and actually say that they were willing to actually go along with Hakeem Jeffries if worse come to worse. So it's like, if you can't sway the 218 to actually go over to Jim Jordan or any of these other people that are actually up there, they're like, fine, we'll just go along and we'll vote for the other guy. We'll vote for the other guy. We'll give the gavel back to the Democrats because they don't care. They don't care. They don't want this fool to take this spot. They don't like him. And there's an awful lot of people that don't.
But the thing is, too, is that that's the threat that was made earlier. And that's why MTG, I'm seeing her name being thrown around in the chat there. That's why she went along with McCarthy, because there were Rhino peoples that were saying that, quote unquote, saying that, and even I was looking at some of this and I was like, oh, really? But that didn't end up being the case. The Rhino people said that they would actually go and vote for the Democrat, which they were never planning on doing. But as it turned out, some of these people were just the McCarthy people that were there. That was one of the other threats in the room that I was talking about. They said that they'll go to, was it in the room, or I forget where it was, where this was stated, that, because I was listening to a couple of different people, they were doing interviews through this, speakership thing and whatnot. And they were saying that McCarthy now has come out and said, or his little groupies or his little lackeys have come out and said, okay, now we're going to start looking to the Democrat side to see if we can pull votes from them for McCarthy. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought that the Republicans were going to go with the Democrat side on this. Well, actually, no, it's reversed. This whole thing was just a McCarthy faction ploy from the very get-go to try to get people like MTG and even Jim Jordan himself to try and back Kevin McCarthy. But as the reality is showing now, he doesn't have the votes to do it because we still have a bunch of hardline MAGA that's there. And not to say that they're not MAGA people, but just to say that like they just don't. They're very leery about this whole situation. They don't know who's going where and what's going to happen. But as it turned out, as we figured out today, that the whole thing of, oh, well, the Republicans are going to go to the Democrat side and put in a Democrat, that was BS because the Democrats were never going to, they were never going to go along with any Republicans on anything, and so, sorry, pardon me, I flipped that around. That they would never go along with McCarthy being speaker. But the other way around was also false because nobody's went to that side either. Nobody's gone over to the Democrat side. They've all stayed on the Republican side.
They have also, for now, stayed on the Republican side. There's a couple of them that did actually put out warnings that if worst come to worst, that they would actually do so. Though there were a couple tweets that were actually put out earlier today. One by the prestigious Lauren Boebert saying that she would actually back Hakeem Jeffries if it came down to it. She's so adamant that she does not like McCarthy, that if she doesn't want to give it to that rhino, she would rather actually just give it to a straight out Democrat. So as far as that goes, there are a couple people that have actually said that they would actually do so. Was kind of actually, this is the Matt Gaetz roast Kevin McCarthy to his face. This is probably one of the funnier of the bits that actually come out of today. It was actually a very interesting day in the House and the Senate.
Oh, wait a minute. Before you play, we should listen to Jim Jordan's bid for him real quick. That's like, I think 2 minutes as well. And then you'll hear Matt Gaetz's response because this is like right after the other. Like Matt Gaetz comes up and says he's referencing, Jim Jordan, and if people didn't hear Jim Jordan's speech, they won't understand what he's talking about. So let me pull that up. I've got that.
Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. I do have that. I just had.
Oh, you do have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have it in the wrong order. That's all.
Because Jim Jordan didn't give a very blaring defense of McCarthy, and neither has MTG or any of those other MAGA people that were backing him. All they were doing was saying that we don't know if we'll be able to keep a Republican speakership.
It says he responds to multiple nominations for House Speaker.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
I rise to nominate Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House.
Notice no one is turning to McCarthy. They're all turning to Jim Jordan. And McCarthy's just sitting his ass down.
Sits on his ass.
The gentleman is recognized.
I mean, can you pause this for just a second?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
That is a sign to me. That's a sign of disrespect, even as he's doing it, because he knows that he's not a fan of McCarthy, and he probably knows what's going to come out of his mouth next. And so he's like, okay, whatever.
I would almost think that this is Jim Jordan's way of actually saying, well, you're not going to take me off of a committee.
Right.
I'm going to nominate you right here and now, so that way that I'm actually going to, I'm nominating you. So, there you go. Take me off a committee and I'll call you out for your bullshit later.
Right.
Right.
And so notice the woman beside him, she didn't just stand up to clap. She turned right to Jordan because she's really good. What is her name? Forget her name now. She was running for a RNC chair of New York. She's a representative from New York. She's really great. I forget if she won that or not. But anyways.
I don't know her name. What her name is.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think we have three objectives this Congress, three fundamental things we have to get done in the 118th Congress. First, pass the bills that fix the problems. In 2 years' time, we have a border that is no longer a border. We have a military that can't meet its recruitment goals. We have bad energy policy, bad education policy, record spending, record inflation, record debt, and a government that has been weaponized against we the people, against the very people we represent. So we need to pass legislation to address all that. And I hope my Democrat colleagues will join me. I really do. But I have my doubts. And if they don't, and if Chuck Schumer says, no, we're not going to take up that legislation that we pass, and if Joe Biden won't sign it, so be it. They'll have to answer to the people in 2024. Second, we can never, ever let a bill like the one that passed 12 days ago, $1.7 trillion spent, we can never, ever let that kind of legislation pass again.
Now you're gonna stand up, you piece of crap. Fuck off. You know.
Yeah, you know
well
why
that
he's
had
doing it.
lot
You know
to
why he's
do
doing
with
it
that.
because he mentioned the omnibus, which Kevin McCarthy never told the Republicans really, really hardcore to not vote for. He just made passing mentions of it, like, yeah, you probably should. He never got on people's cases on the Republican side of the aisle and insisted that they don't because it's crazy and insane. He never did that. He just kind of, gave the talking points so that, our side of the aisle would be like, oh, look, he's really cool. We should vote for him as speaker. Like, no, actually.
No,
And so now he gets up because he's like, oh, yeah, sure, of course I support not that bill. Now that I know it's, so totally unpopular and everybody hates me for it. No. I exactly, I'm for that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, now he stands up because now he wants to be seen as standing up when speaking to the omnibus as a bad thing. Because he wasn't there to stop it because he didn't intend to.
No.
Like this is
that money that's being funneled back
and
into
forth
the United States into
subliminal text there.
There has to be something that is put back in his pocket. Damn well. It's not all just funneled back to this DNC. We all know better. There's plenty of Republicans that will receive money from the laundering of money through Ukraine.
Not as much, but yes.
We have to pass a budget that makes sense, that's good common sense, then do the 12 appropriation bills that recognize it's the people's money, not ours, and send it to the Senate, and then stand firm on that legislation. And again, if they won't take it up and Joe Biden won't sign it, we can stand firm on a CR or something. We can have that fight, but we are not going to have what took place a week and a half ago ever happen again. And then finally, third, and this is important, we got to do the oversight, do the investigations. We have to do the oversight and the investigations that need to be done. This idea that bureaucrats who never put their name on a ballot but think they run the country, who have assaulted our constituents' First Amendment liberties, they need to be held accountable. That has to happen. We need to do it.
McCarthy can't even look at him.
We need to do it in a way that's consistent with the Constitution, but we need to do it vigorously and aggressively. That is part of our duty as members of this body. To my friends here on this side of the aisle, I would just say this. The differences we may have, the differences between Joyce and Jordan or Biggs and Bacon, they pale in comparison to the differences between us and the left, which now unfortunately controls the other party. So we had better come together and fight for these key things, these three things. That's what the people want us to do. And I think Kevin McCarthy is the right guy to lead us. I really do, or I wouldn't be standing up here giving this speech. I came in with Kevin. We came in the same time 16 years ago. We haven't always agreed on everything, but I like his fight. I like his tenacity, and I like it. I remember Kevin told me, I actually wrote about this in a book. I remember Kevin told me, he said, when the toughest times in life are when you get knocked down. The question is, can you come back? And I've always seen him be able to do that. We need to rally around him, come together, and deal with these three things, because this is what the people sent us here to do. My favorite scripture verse is 2 Timothy 4:7. Paul's the old guy giving advice to the young guy, and he says, fight the good fight, finish the course, keep the faith. I like the verse because it's a verse of action. Fight, finish, keep. Not wimpy words, words that I think fit America. That's what the American people want us to do. They want us to fight for the things they care about and they elected us to do. And we should all remember, only about 12,000 people have ever had the opportunity to do what we're doing today, sit in this body, serve in this Congress. It is a privilege. It is an opportunity. We owe it to them, the American people, the good people of this great country, to step forward, to come together, get a speaker elected so we can address these three things. I hope you'll vote for Kevin McCarthy, and that's why I'm proud to nominate him for Speaker of the House.
I mean, I really don't like the fact that he actually gone to the point of actually saying we need to actually put Kevin McCarthy in the spot. But most of the words that did come out of his mouth were actually, legit. We need to actually stand up. We need to actually fight for this kind of shit. When we allow things to actually happen the way they've been happening, it's not fair. It's not fair to us as the people that they're representing to actually watch them continue over and over again to actually hurt us. And that's all they're doing. They're just going to sit there and hurt us as much as they possibly can.
And of course, in the speech, he only mentioned Kevin McCarthy's name, like, I don't know, maybe 4 times throughout the entire speech that he gave. And he wasn't there like, oh, Kevin's the best thing that's since sliced bread. He's just like, hey, he's a fighter, quote unquote, whatever type of deal. And, he's, as soon as he mentioned his name one of the last times, right, he's just like, get him in and then let's get all this done, right? Like that's the strategy there that he's thinking about, right? It's like, get him in and then we can secure the seat, right? It's all about securing this. It's always about securing the speakership from the Republican side. That's what he's thinking about, because if it falls or it falters or like somebody breaks away and goes to the Dem side or whatever, like that's what's going through his head still. That's why he said what he said. Now we get to the great Matt Gaetz.
Real quick, Maddie, I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, I'm not that old. I was just a young boy when Reagan was around. But putting McConnell back into place and then going and turning around, putting McCarthy into place, there's going to be an awful lot of people that are going to go along with what you had said there, and they're not going to vote. They're going to abstain from doing such a thing, which could actually hurt our country if more and more people actually do that exact thing, because then it's going to allow those that are loud and boisterous to continue to get their way.
I didn't think that McConnell was back as the leader in the Senate yet. I didn't think they'd met for that yet, unless that was today and I missed it.
There was a meeting today, that's for sure. I didn't catch the whole thing because I was paying attention to the House, but I do plan on, hopefully, depending on how long it takes them tomorrow, if they actually come up, would be to go back and actually listen to what happened in the Senate.
But did they put McConnell in as the majority leader?
I don't think so. I didn't actually see if they actually did for sure. I didn't see any news on it. I don't know if you want to look that up real quick while we listen to Matt Gaetz to see if anything did actually happen there. Because obviously we should probably maybe know, who's actually the Senate majority leader. If it's that turtle-faced piece of shit, or if it's, somebody else.
Florida, rise.
To nominate a candidate for Speaker of the House.
The gentleman is recognized.
Well, sometimes we have to do jobs that we don't really want to do. And sometimes we have to do jobs that we are called to do. And so, my colleagues, I rise to nominate the most talented, hardest working member of the Republican Conference, who just gave a speech with more vision than we have ever heard from the alternative. I'm nominating Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is humble, perhaps today, humble to a fault. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who wants it so bad. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who has sold shares of themselves for more than a decade to get it. Maybe Jim Jordan is the right person for Speaker of the House because he is not beholden to the lobbyists and special interests who have corrupted this place and corrupted this nation under the leadership of both Republicans and Democrats. Maybe Jim Jordan would be the right person for Speaker of the House because he wouldn't fight us when we try to get a term limits bill on the floor. Maybe Jim Jordan would be the right person because he wouldn't fight us when we try to put a balanced budget on the floor and vote for it. And maybe Jim Jordan is the right person because he would endorse the plan that was built by the Texas delegation to finally secure our border. Mr. Jordan said in his nomination that there are certain bills that we have to pass to fix the problem. The challenge is the alternative has been someone voting for the very bills that have caused these problems. Mr. Jordan says that we cannot accept legislation like the omnibus, and I fully agree. And if Jim Jordan were Speaker of the House, if he were the leader of the Republican team, we wouldn't have that circumstance choking the economy of our country, increasing inflation, and diminishing the prospects of a better life for our fellow Americans. And finally, Mr. Jordan said we must engage in rigorous oversight. Every one of my Republican colleagues knows that the person who can lead that oversight effort, who works on it every day, who has the skill and the talent and the will, is Jim Jordan. I'm nominating him and I'm voting for him.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with him. I mean, Jim Jordan seems to be that type of person that might actually be best for this country and best for what we're actually trying to get at.
May I just say, Matt Gaetz is a superb. If he is successful in what he's continuing to do, he is one of the most superb politicians of our era. Like coming out and just taking all of these hits and making it seem like, oh, he's causing a blunder and everything else, and he is pushing it. And of course, he's not the only one, but I mean, he's the one who got up and made this for Jim Jordan. He's the one that nominated Jim Jordan. And he was with Andy Biggs from Arizona, was a congressman who was running for the speakership. And then now all of a sudden he's like flipped on a dime. He's like, throw the hat in for Jim Jordan because Jim Jordan's speech was so good. He's like, and everybody loves Jim Jordan. This is like a spin. This is like just right at the very end there. He's like changing. He's like, no. We need Jim Jordan. Listen to what he just said. This is better than McCarthy. This is better than this. He's a humble guy. He doesn't want this so bad. Like he's just on a dime. He puts out a new message to people like, this is the guy we really do need. Listen to what he just said. He's the humble guy. He doesn't want the job, but he's the best person for it. Like, it's perfect. And he just puts it all together right there and just puts it right out for everybody to listen to. This guy is a freaking genius. And anybody that doesn't respect Matt Gaetz, oh man, like you're off in La La Land somewhere. You have some respect for the
Jordan. Was nominated? Yeah. Yep, exactly. There were several people that actually backed him on that. He started out with like 12 votes. At the end, he was up to 20 votes, and watching McCarthy actually slowly lose votes. So I mean, hopefully more and more Republicans actually wake up to the situation and actually go back and actually just be like, no, McCarthy should not be that person that's up there. And they need to actually go back on it. I like this clip because it's Lauren Boebert actually stunning Congress members as she stands up for her vote.
But one more thing about Matt Gaetz, if he actually succeeds with this is going to be one of the biggest political upsets. Like this is national and international news that's just been made. He's one of the single biggest outspoken people on the MAGA side of the Republicans here that have been pushing the anti-McCarthy ticket. And I mean, if he gets this done, he will have saved us all. He will have saved even the other MAGA people like Jim Jordan, like MTG, who weren't so sure about doing this. But if it wasn't for people like Matt Gaetz and those others, like Lauren Boebert and others against this, man, there wouldn't even be an open ticket against McCarthy at this point. They kept pushing the issue. And so it just speaks to the fact that, yeah, sure, people aren't perfect, but when you put up a fight, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to win this out. Now, again, this hasn't come to fruition yet, but if it does, this is going to be international news, may I just say. But at any rate, well, let's vote for Donald Trump as speaker. Why not? Anyway, while we're at it. Matt Gaetz floated better.
Yeah, we can show that comment. Me and you, yes, this is live. We are here.
And Pikachu?
Is Congress live? No. This is from earlier today. Stopping cuckoldry's wet blanket. I mean, okay. Sounds like fun. I have no clue. Yeah, it's
Anyway.
one of those. Right. It's one of those. It's okay.
Jeffries. Boebert. Jordan.
I've rise. It's so faint and quiet, but this is where it first started out.
Jordan.
Can't hear it.
Boebert.
That's where it all started out, because Boebert. This is the first vote. This is says as they're going down the list in alphabetical order of everybody that's in Congress or in the House. They actually get to Boebert, and she said, "This is where it first starts." Where she says, "I rise for the Honorable Jim Jordan." She is the one that started the majority of this. She's the one that actually has been pushing for Jim Jordan to actually be there. Several others stepped in afterward and actually put themselves on on that line and said, "Yep, Jim Jordan." There are a couple of them that went out for Biggs. There's a couple that said something for a couple others as well. It seems as though those that were in those smaller groups had actually moved themselves into position to actually say, "Okay, fine, let's do this. Let's go with Jim Jordan." If Republicans, all in all, can wake the hell up and actually do what they need to do, they can actually make that difference. They can make the difference by putting somebody like Jim Jordan in place and not Kevin McCarthy and his freaking bullshit. I know it's not very long. They have a whole minute and 23 seconds, but that was the short little blurb within the first couple seconds of her actually standing up and saying Jim Jordan is the one that deserves. I did have and after that third ballot, they actually did finally recess for the day and adjourn until tomorrow at noon.
So everybody
noon
needs to call
Eastern.
their congressman or tomorrow in the tomorrow afternoon-ish or whatever, call them up
Before
and
noon.
tell them you must vote for Jim Jordan.
This is noon Eastern. So if you in your different time zones, if you're up early enough, this is noon Eastern that this starts. So 12, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 o'clock in the morning in that Pacific coast is where they're going to start doing votes.
First thing in the morning, folks.
First thing
Buzz
you
'em.
do when you wake up, if you want a difference, is you go and you call your representatives and you tell them, we want Jim Jordan. You might potentially actually help the situation. And
Let the
hopefully McCarthy didn't get his way and with his deep pockets and pay his way into being able to play. I really seriously hope that doesn't come to anything at all. I really
A lot of people were saying that after McCarthy went over after the second round and was making all those threats, that's when there were several that went over to the other side to the Jim Jordan side. So that was when the number went up to 20 against that was not for McCarthy. So he's losing support as he's desperately trying to clamor on. And I think that's just going to continue to drop off for him. So, I mean, if he doesn't step down, if he gets like 30 anti-McCarthy, 40 anti-McCarthy, I mean, like, how many more does he have to not get before he's like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to step out of the race and then just let Jim Jordan take it over?
Right. And that's the easiest way for it to actually occur, is for him to actually finally just say, okay, fine. You don't want me
if he's
here,
losing
I'm
support,
gone. I'll back
get out of
down.
the way.
Right. He's
Like,
losing.
I mean, stop making threats. You're losing support. You moved your furniture into the, I have to pull this up. He moved the
Go ahead.
furniture into this place. And, but to just finish the point, like, you're so arrogant, and yet you can't get the speakership after 3 rounds. Everybody else historically has stepped down after the first one. I mean, get out of the way. He claims to be this uniter of the Republican Party. You're not a uniter. You're there for yourself. You're now up to 20 people that don't want you. And it's just going to get it going up the more you keep making threats. So he's not a uniter, and he's showing his true colors. He's making all these threats, and he's doing all this crap. And as he continues to do that, he's losing more and more support as a result. And so to that point, we've got Matt Gaetz here, says, the Speaker of the House office in the Capitol is currently being occupied by Kevin McCarthy. The office, not the office of the Speaker, but rather the office room, right? The literal room in the Capitol building is now it's currently being occupied.
Furniture into a room.
Right,
Thinking that he's going to reside there. I think he needs to actually think again. Step down. Move your furniture back into your own office.
It says the Speaker of the House office in the Capitol is currently being occupied by Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy is not the Speaker of the House. He lost 3 consecutive votes today. I am demanding answers from the architect of the Capitol. That's who's in charge of, like, you know, the offices, the building itself, and who occupies it. And this is what he wrote. Am I still sharing this?
Yes.
Yes. Dear Mr. Blanton, who the Honorable J. Brett Blanton, 12th architect of the Capitol building in the United States. He says, I write to inform you that the Speaker of the House office located in the U.S. Capitol building is currently occupied by Representative Kevin McCarthy. As of this morning, the 117th Congress adjourned sine die, I think it's how you pronounce it. And a speaker from the 118th Congress has not been elected. After 3 undeciding votes, no member can lay claim to this office. What is the basis in law, House rule, or precedent to allow someone who has placed second in 3 consecutive speaker elections to occupy the Speaker of the House office? How long will he remain there before he is considered a squatter? He says that in the official complaint. It's in the official letter to the architect. He calls him a squatter. Please write back promptly, as it seems Mr. McCarthy can no longer be considered Speaker designate following today's balloting. Oh my God. He literally calls him a squatter. I love Matt Gaetz.
Not sure where you're getting at, me and you, but yeah, okay. Yeah, it's awesome. I always talk to all my chat, you know, so as far as that goes, I'm not going to ignore one person over the next. As far, I mean, don't slice the shot, you ignorant wanker. I mean, you know, as far as that goes, you know, and that's pretty much what it's going to end up being if we don't actually continue to stand up against the bullshit is it's going to end up moving its way into just allowing McCarthy just to do whatever the fuck he wants. And he's going to continue to push for it to actually be his own way. And I hope that everybody really seriously thinks about it. Heidi S. Does the person answer when you call, or do I leave a message? You're not going to get straight into you're really not. You're not going to get a straight to the representative. You're going to get
most likely you will have to leave a message. But that's
right. You're going to get a message. You're going to leave a message. You're going to actually finally somebody in their office will actually pick up and listen to the message potentially to get the message across to another person that would eventually be able to get to, your representative. But if there was enough people that actually woke up to the situation and actually kept on calling, eventually they're going to see, hey, wait a minute here. Constituents really seriously want us to actually go this route as opposed to just doing whatever the hell we want. And they may actually change their mind and do what they want. I mean, me and you, if you don't like what we're talking about, I don't really fucking care.
Well, I think they're just talking from personal perspective when they're saying like they're tuning out from Matt Gaetz. They're saying that like Matt Gaetz is playing an ignoramus, like he doesn't know it's their club or whatever. But like he's not playing an ignoramus, he's playing by the rules. He's saying, oh, so McCarthy thinks he owns everything. It's his club. Oh, okay. Well, excuse me, but where in the rules does it say that he can step in as the speaker in the speaker's office if he hasn't won this? It's called, fighting the swamp. It's called putting up a fight. It's called putting up a stance. So yeah, you just can't sit around and be like, oh, well, it's a club, I'm not going to say anything. Well, no, you have to fight at every level. I mean, if the founding fathers just sat around and was like, oh, well, Britain's the most powerful nation in the world. We will never, ever beat them. Who cares? It's their club. It's their planet. Then we would have never have America for you to sit around and bitch. If you live in America. I don't know if you live in America. Pardon my French, but,
Let's see here. To continue with what was actually being spoke of, so then it did come down to him actually, McCarthy actually losing ground in that third vote. That third vote actually didn't go as well as the first couple. He had continued to lose. Like I said, it started off at 12, ended up at 20 for Jim Jordan and away from McCarthy. People actually not really caring for McCarthy whatsoever.
Yeah, Jim Jordan's name's very well known. And I mean, here's Heidi, she's like, I can't remember anything McCarthy's done, but that Jim Jordan, I mean, he's everywhere. He's ham mode all the time. I've said this before. I said this like the first couple episodes of the Stick with the Koolfrogg show, I think. I said, I want Jim Jordan, the suitless speaker. I don't know if you ever remember me saying that thing. I want the suitless speaker. Well, here we are, the suitless speaker. Unfortunately, he's wearing a suit. But but yeah, I mean, like Jim Jordan is nationally recognized. He's a nationally recognized.
He went from
everybody loves him.
218 the first round to 202 on the third round. So there's actually people that actually voted for McCarthy that actually went back and said no, and actually changed their mind, removed their vote from McCarthy and put it over to Jim Jordan. There's several people that are very, very adamant about this actually happening, that it's actually wearing out into everybody else to actually, step up to the plate and actually be like, no.
Yep.
When somebody loses the vote 3 times, there's no reason that they should come back for a 4th bout and say, oh, I need to do this yet one more time because I know dang well you're going to actually turn around and you're going to actually do what I tell you to do. No. Stop doing what people tell you to do. F that shit. Do your own damn thing. If you're going to sit there and you're going to just, bow down to, McCarthy because McCarthy's going to remove you from committees or he's going to do, those are just simple threats. Those are not promises. He's nothing that he can actually do when it comes down to it. It's not up to just him on who gets selected for a committee. It's not just the speaker that has full say. They all still get voted into their committees. They don't just get placed there by the Speaker of the House. It's not how it works. For him to sit there and threaten people, it doesn't matter. They need to actually wake the fuck up and continue to do what they're doing. Push for somebody different. Tell McCarthy, step down. We don't want you there. We've voted against you. Several people over and over again. We're not going to change our mind. If they continue to not change their mind and he refuses to actually step down, is where those couple that actually did come out and say, hey, worst comes to worst, we will vote for Hakeem Jeffries and give the gavel back to Democrats. They will. They're going to do it. Where Debbie says, I'm going to head out. Good night, everyone. You have a good night, Deb.
Later.
Sleep well. Talk to you later. It's actually gone to the point where he's actually lost his backer. Donald Trump has actually finally declined to back Kevin McCarthy in this bid. He's actually finally come out and said, no, I'm done backing you. You failed to win. You failed to win, and you need to step down. So
You
even
have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
the person that has actually there and has actually said that he should be the one that should be there is finally saying no. When that many people tell you that you need to step down and back away and just allow somebody else that actually is going to do the job correctly to do that job, you need to actually finally start to listen and pay attention to what's going on. So even Trump's against it. Let's see here. What else did I have here for tonight? Because it did say and maybe more. So the and maybe more. Let's go with this. This is kind of funny.
Oh wait, before we do this, can I do this little funny? This is Donald Trump to Kevin McCarthy. Donald Trump to Kevin McCarthy here, right?
Lord Vader, the fleet has moved out to flight speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Just from Florida and Mar-a-Lago, he's like using the political force, and he's like choking Kevin McCarthy. You have failed me. Like that's what's happening.
I don't care what you have to say from England. When it comes down to it, me and you, I really don't care. You gonna tell me that I'm barking up a tree because I back Trump? There you go. You see the flag right there. Trump 2024. It's gonna happen. You don't like it from England. I don't care. It's not up to you to decide. You don't know these politics that are here. You're only paying attention to the world news and what the world news has to say about it. I don't care. I don't care. Fuck off. I don't care if you think that I'm barking up a dumb tree or if I'm barking up any other tree. That's what we're here for. To give you our side of the message, not yours.
Wait, is this the new guy here? Then is that who you're responding to?
Me and you's not new. Me and you's been around for a while. They only show up every once in a while to try razzling us and actually trying to say that their politics in England are this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I'm not from England. You're reacting as I'd like you to. And I'm going to react to everybody. It's not just you. I don't give a fuck. You'd think that I'm barking up the wrong tree. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, I'm getting at you. No, you're not. Princess comes in and says, fine, 300 seconds. Go away.
I mean, this must be me and you here. Like, you know, this must be me and you right here. This is
proceeding as I have foreseen.
like that like he's just like, you know, like I guess this evil genius or whatever he thinks he is, or whoever she thinks, or whoever. Maybe it's an it. I don't know.
Maybe Heidi. Maybe I didn't see the new, the difference between New England and England in itself. I missed that. I missed the one word. Big deal. I don't care. If they pay attention and they're actually part of any political whatever, and they calling out Trump because they just want to me, it sounds like they're actually paying attention to leftist media, and they don't actually care about everything in a whole. It just seems, you know, strange to me that somebody would actually come around here thinking that they should actually speak up against such a thing, when they know damn well that there's several of us here that actually back Trump and actually are going to continue to back Trump as long as we possibly can. As long as he's there, these corrupt politicians that have been there forever hopefully will get drained from the swamp.
Is this a like Mike Pompeo supporter? Is this like a Mike Pence supporter over here for president?
I don't know. We'll see if in the 300 seconds when they, 5 minutes, whatever, when they come back, if they come back, maybe we can get an answer for them. Who do you think we should actually follow? Who do you think we should actually pay attention to? Should we even care what you actually think? Not cool to agitate people on purpose because they want the host to be agitated when it's their channel. And that's the thing I'm not really agitated at them in particular. It's their thought process of not paying attention. Pay attention to the task at hand, as opposed to actually bringing up some ridiculous bullshit. There you go. Let's kind of move on a little bit. There you go. I thought this was hilarious. Kamala Harris actually had come out and actually said everybody needed to actually required everybody to come up with a negative COOF test for them to actually take part in a swearing-in ceremony photo app with the new GOP senator. It's like, okay, let's go back and let's rehash that again, Kamala. So, I mean, I thought it was interesting that she actually went to that point. We look forward to welcoming your senator on January 3rd, 2023, to a ceremonial reenactment of incoming and newly re-elected senators in the old House Senate. Harris's director of legislative affairs wrote in the Senate office, As you're aware, White House COOF protocols requires that anyone over 2 years of age, will interact with the vice president, take a medically administered particular test within 24 hours prior to the interaction. Because why? Because she needs to continue to push the bullshit narrative that such a thing actually needs to happen. She's afraid.
It's all just power.
I see your comment, me and you. And the thing is this one isn't actually blocked by the mod. This is actually blocked by YouTube algorithm for the choice of words you used.
I can't.
You're not wrong. I can't say anything because your mods are whatever bitch blocking me for my decision. And that word right there, that word bitch, that one right there is too much. They do not like it. YouTube algorithm says no. Echo chamber much? Look at reality and how much it has progressed over the last 20 years. Echo chamber much? Yeah, okay, we're in the echo chamber. We're the ones that read articles from the left and the right and actually, tell you what is up from a centrist point of view. So as far as an echo chamber goes, if you want to find one, maybe go sit over in Twitter or something.
We're very populist over here. We're not really, we're not married to, Conservative Inc. and Sean Hannity. Like that's not, that's not what we do.
You are? You're not even pliable? You have no clue.
Pliable on what exactly? What, like a man can become a woman?
No,
is that the pliability you wish for us to have? I mean, what pliability are you talking about?
They simply don't like that we actually speak of the stuff that we speak of, and shoot down both Democrats and Republicans for the bullshit that they've created over the last 100 years. It seriously, it doesn't matter. I don't care what side you're on. I really don't. Both sides are horrible. Both sides need to be readjusted, and there's certain people that need to be removed. Why we're so adamant at removing somebody like Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell, both Republicans. We don't like either one of them. So where are we going with this? How pliable do you want me to be when I will not vote for a single Democrat ever again? Period. Put a D behind your name and you now lose my vote. Come out and tell me that you're a Republican, but yet have these same abilities and ridiculous thoughts that you're going to actually change things, but you're actually still going to go along with Democrats and their bullshit. I'm going to also call you out for your bullshit. Call me what you want, pliable, not pliable. I don't care. I really don't.
I mean, they have
what I'm more interested in is who you think that we should actually vote for.
Well,
Who
right,
is it
like
that
that's the
you
thing is
really
like
want us to actually be here and be like, oh, we need to actually go after this guy.
All right, like what's this person's position? What is me and you's position? He's like, oh, you're not pliable, or you're not this. We're not what? You haven't presented anything. If you want to make an argument in the chat, like at least make one. It's just don't accuse people and like say, oh, like you're dumb, or like passively act like that we're a bunch of dumbasses. Like
sit there in chat and use stupid words that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like, and it's not going to actually come through. Your comments are going to get blocked. My moderators know damn well that I'm responsible for everything that happens on my show as well as in my chat. If you think that you're going to continue to say stupid words that YouTube doesn't like and think they're going to come across other than the fact that I read them, It's the only way that it's going to actually show up in chat. They're going to get blocked by my moderators because they know. Why? Because my moderators actually like being my moderators. They will actually call you out for your bullshit. Who in the world do you think we should actually go and actually vote for? Who should we, if it's not for Trump and it's not for Let's Go Brandon, who is it that you think would be best for this country? Go ahead.
And also, if you'd like to say
giving
certain
you the
things in
time to
chat,
actually
go to
say
Rumble.
what you'd like.
Go subscribe to Rumble. Give us more Rumble subs. Go over there.
Right. If there's things like you just can't keep out of your mouth, like swear words to actually allow your stuff to actually come across chat, just subscribe over there. Go, and maybe we'll actually figure something out. It's okay, y'all aren't functional anyway. I should not be on trial. You're not on trial. I don't know why that one was blocked by YouTube algorithm. You aren't functional anyway. Okay. If you say so. You say so, but yet refuse to actually tell me what it is that you actually think we should actually do in your opinion. Because my opinion.
If you can't even present your side
matter.
of the, if
What
you can't
is it
even
that you'd
present
like?
yourself, oh yeah, like if you can't even present yourself in the chat and just say what you want to say and be like, this is why we should do this. This is why we should do this. Why should I be persuaded to your side at all? You're not doing any persuading. You're just flogging us.
You just
your
pointing at
words.
us and saying,
Like,
"Oh, you're wrong."
Why should I go
You're
with you?
wrong. Your opinion sucks. You're not functional. Fuck off. I don't care.
I mean,
care what
again,
you
like
fucking
I have
think.
yet, like, what?
But
do
if you want to
what are you pushing for?
actually answer the question, maybe we'll actually come up with a better, a better stance for your dumb ass. Do you want to actually share something with us? Or do you just want to sit there and point fingers and say, oh, I'm going to call you a name? Sounds like a typical leftist. Call people names.
And by the way, you're not on trial. I'm just, this is, I mean,
I'm
if
just
you
asking
want
you a simple
to have a
question.
conversation, if you want to conversate in chat, I mean, again, chatting is what chat's for, then chat away, type away. What is your position? You don't give anything. You're just like, no, but nobody's putting you on trial. Just present what you have. We're putting out, I mean, how long have we been here? Like an hour, almost 2 hours? Like,
almost
you've had
2 hours.
you have plenty of time. Just type away.
Right. Exactly what Maddie just said. Just take a position instead of tossing bombs. Actually give us your position. What is it that you'd like us to actually say so that we can actually enjoy your comments in our comment section? What is it that you would like to hear from us? What is it that you'd like us to actually change our minds on and be more pliable? You don't want to answer? Fine. I don't care. But if that's what you would like to do, we're giving you the space to do it.
Okay, I think we're probably just resorting to gaslighting after this. Like, you can derail the conversation on your own. You don't need help. Like, this is just kind of...
I don't like you to be authentic people.
No, I'd like you to be... Okay, yeah, this is... I mean, I don't know what else to say than gaslighting.
What have
Like,
I done that at
really?
any point in time in the last year any different than I'd ever done? Everything has been the same. I have not sit there and wish-wash from back and forth. I ain't sitting there being like, oh, this guy sucks. Oh, wait, maybe he's actually kind of cool. No, I have a stance. In my opinion, I feel certain things are certain ways. No, those are your reactions. Those are your reactions. Your reactions in chat, sitting there saying that you don't think that we're authentic enough for you. Saying that you don't think that we're this, that, or the other. I don't care. I don't care what
I'm
you
made
think.
of authentic, genuine cotton. I don't know what this guy's talking, It ain't fake cotton that this shirt's made of, you know. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to get at there.
Susie, have a good night, dear.
Oh, later, Susie.
You're literally doing it right now. Exactly, that's what you're doing. You're literally doing it right now. You don't want to answer a simple question and give us your opinion on whether you think that we should actually hold our opinion. All right. Well, I did have one more thing, but it's fairly lengthy, and I think there's been several people that have actually covered more in depth. There's been another Twitter drop. I think eventually we'll have to actually just hold an actual show on Twitter drops and just actually go through or a bunch of them at once, as opposed to adding this to the end of a rather decent show. But whatever. Many cheers and happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope everything gets better for you, and the world isn't so. You don't have to be so angry about everything. I mean, you got banned because, my moderator didn't like your tone that you were actually putting out. It's the only thing that happens. If you don't like it, you don't like that the mod actually did her job the way she actually did it, as she's been instructed to do. Oh, well.
I mean, again, it's like, you're on YouTube. You can only say so many things in the chat without YouTube, overanalyzing, going crazy, and like trying to kick off anybody that dares go. So, this is just gaslighting. It's ridiculous.
Cake, how's it going? Stopped in to get a cup of conversation. It's a journey. Views will always differ. Twitter drops for my final leg. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Would you like a Twitter drop? I would like a Twitter drop. Oh, one Twitter drop coming up. She's a cake, so I have to make like some sort of foodie reference,
Right. But now I need an attitude adjustment. You people kind of silly. Again, it's the same crap. You don't know how to actually hold a conversation with us.
You just said it earlier.
Projecting yourself as opposed
just said
to
it
actually...
earlier. Cry to Susan because we can't help the rules.
Right. Susan doesn't like it. Susan says no. You can't say that. Guess what? She just simply can't say it. It's not my idea to tell you that you can't say it. It's Susan that says you can't say that. Objection. Projection.
I love how they said that, like, earlier, me and you said that, like, oh no, like, we can derail it just fine. Like, you don't need your help. And yet here we are like 20 minutes later and they've derailed the whole podcast.
Straight out correct. If you can't figure out how to have a debate or conversation without name calling, then yeah, maybe you need an attitude adjustment. It's as simple as that. It's simple as that. If you can't not say, "Oh, you kind of silly," "Oh, you kind of this," or "You're this," your your opinion sucks," or this, that, and the other, as opposed to just holding the conversation. We've tried to do this.
I will go along with this
for the last 10 minutes. Hold a regular conversation with us.
Chat away. Everybody else does it.
Chat away. Have a good time, and actually give us an actual opinion. As opposed to just saying, "Oh, well, you're kind of wishy-washy. You're kind of this. Your opinion sucks. You're silly. You're this. You're that. I'm going to project my own self onto you because I have no other way of actually saying anything. Don't know how to hold a conversation with anybody. All I know how to do is project my own idiocies. Simple as that. Yeah. Yep. Because it's the end of the show. Why are we still going on about it? Because you're continuing to allow us to do so. I mean, if that's what you want, yeah, that's exactly where we're going to go. Isn't that fun?
But I think we should be done with it. I mean, we're getting into like idiotic territory at this point. It's like, I mean, we're getting into mind-numbing territory at this point.
Anybody else that has any questions or thoughts or opinions that they'd like to actually share with us, and would actually, have any questions at all, we'll give you a few minutes to actually do so while we actually do some closing statements. Jimmy, YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to show yourself out?
Nah, I didn't do much this time.
Well, you can. But okay, everybody else, everybody that's here, make sure you do check out Jimmy YouTube. Jimmy YouTube does his own drawing channels. He does have a couple of things that he does on YouTube, as well as
Jimmy Griff,
Rumble.
Do the Griff, Jimmy. Come on.
Don't check out my shit, guys. Do yourselves a favor. Just don't check it out.
Do yourself a favor. Don't do it.
Do not go at Jimmy YouTube. Do not go and watch his videos. You must not, or Mother Susan will be very mad at you.
Definitely don't go to Real Anime Rich on Twitter with underscores and capitalizations.
Don't go there, he says. I just put it out there. Not to go there. Otherwise, everybody should actually check out americashirtsareFirst.com.
And with the discount code of Koolfrogg, which again, ladies and gentle tots, it is still the 12 days of Christmas, coming to an end of the 12 days of Christmas. And I'm keeping the sale going at 25% off of anything in the store. Totally go check it out. Grab yourself a t-shirt. A couple of people have. Go there, grab them now while the sale is hot still. The 12 days of Christmas with the new t-shirt lines of abolished three-letter agencies. Go check that out.
So
FBI,
you have
CIA.
one more day at that percentage. One more day, because 12th day of Christmas would be on the 5th, correct?
Wait, is it?
Yeah, it's the 5th.
I have to count again.
It's the 5th. From the 25th to the 5th.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I was going to keep
the 12th day of
it
Christmas
up.
is on the 5th. If
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
hold, if you can keep it up until the 6th. The 6th is the 13th day, which would be the day that the three wise men actually appear.
Yes.
Right?
I was going.
The fun one this year is when they actually appear. It actually occurs at the same time as a full moon, which is Friday.
Yeah, I was going to keep that up until the Epiphany on Friday.
Okay, there you go.
So
yeah,
that's the
few days left. You have a few days left to actually get that 25% off.
I mean, I'm calling it the 12 days of Christmas because that's the period in time which is between
right.
between Christmas and the Epiphany.
Got you.
Wiseman. So, anyways, yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So 12 days of Christmas sales still going on. Go check it out.
You also have a wonderful day. All that being said, if you haven't already, please check out buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. That is the best way to actually donate and help support me. If you don't like the Buy Me a Coffee, it doesn't work for you, there is a PayPal link there. You can actually go there as well. Please check out Locals. Locals is always a fun place. If you haven't already, check out Rumble site. Rumble for both myself, or all three of us actually have a Rumble.
Yes, I have a Rumble.
Go hit up that Rumble side. Because if anything ever does happen here, we will be there.
And we do want to try to do like
a
transition to doing more of the show over there to talk about some of the things that we can't talk about over here. So that's also a thing. So go over there and subscribe.
Yep, go over there. Go hit it up. Check it out.
Do it.
Subscribe over there.
Do it now.
Mr. Terrible, welcome. Glad you're here at the end of the night.
Mr. Terrible.
Mini Chief, no Indian. Yeah, well, as far as that goes, it looks that way, but it's actually two mods that are actually sitting there speaking over and over again and actually flooding chat with links and places to go check us out. Tomorrow there will be a show. Hopefully I'll actually have more content ready for 10 o'clock as opposed to starting around 10:30 like we did tonight. I had slept in a little bit, which is probably kind of nice, to actually finally get more than 3 hours of sleep. At 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, I will be with Jessica Reloaded on her channel. A little bit of a fun night to start off with. Don't forget to check her out. She and her channel, and come see what we're actually covered there. Thank you all very much. Say goodnight, boys.
Subscribe on Rumble. Later, people.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.